Okay, good evening and welcome to the virtual college exploration for all Illinois students, sponsored by the Illinois Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you so much for joining us. Just a few housekeeping announcements that you see here before we officially get started. If you want to ask questions, you can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any point in time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. And as you may know, this is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at IACAC.org. This presentation is being recorded and it will be available within about a week at the same website. So again, IACAC.org. So now I'd like to turn it over to our presenters from Carroll. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Amelia. How's it going, everyone? My name is Griffin Eidelman. I'm a traditional admission counselor here at Carroll. I'm joined today by two of our awesome students, Jamie and Claire. Jamie and Claire will be helping me out tonight. We'll get to them in a little bit. We're going to do a Q&A with them later, so feel free to start thinking of some questions as we go throughout the presentation. First, we're going to start by talking a little bit about the admission process, just some fun facts about Carroll, and then eventually we'll be getting into financial aid as well, which I know is always a hot button topic, especially now that the FAFSA is out. We'll be getting financial aid awards, offer letters starting to go out this next week, so that's exciting as well. Feel free to toss some questions in the Q&A as we get going, and hopefully we'll be able to come back to them when we get to the question and answer portion of the evening. So Carroll University highlights, I'll try to keep it under 15 minutes. I appreciate you joining us, and I want to make sure that we use the time effectively. So Carroll University is the oldest institution in the state of Wisconsin. We're actually an institution before Wisconsin was a state. We pioneered our way into Wisconsin. That's kind of how we got our nickname, Carroll University Pioneers. I like to say there's a bad pun that just end up sticking around. We were founded in 1846. So we've been around for almost 175 years now. I'm a big fan of saying if you've been around that long, you must be doing something right. Just some more fast facts about Carroll. About 2,800 full-time undergraduate students, 3,400 total students. That includes a couple of our graduate programs. We have some part-time students as well. 100% of those students receive a financial aid offer. Now, only about 98% take that. I don't know who the 2% is that don't take the financial aid that we offer them. But if you're an undergraduate student that's interested in coming to Carroll, you will receive a financial aid offer letter. That's why that FAFSA is so important. So start to get onto that if you haven't hit it yet. 85% of our students live on or within the campus community. We are not a backpacker campus. We're not a residence kind of like commuter campus. I get asked that a lot, being so close to Milwaukee. Do you guys have a lot of people that just come in during classes and then leave on the weekend? There's a lot to do here on the weekends. We'll get into some organizations and events later on. But the main point that I like to make is that we have a lot of students stay on campus because they do come from down in Illinois, like some of y'all, hopefully. Every class is taught by one of our 350 plus faculty. Basically what that means is we have no teaching assistants. Now, when I was a student here, I had no idea what that meant. I just thought it was a teaching assistant. I didn't know any backstory to it. Basically, what that means is we don't have any doctorate students who are like staying up till 3 a.m. trying to write their thesis paper, then turn around and try to teach a class at 8 or 9 a.m. These are all faculty who have at least a master's degree. If not, they're a professional from the field that's coming in to teach the course. Having so much faculty allows us to have a very small average class size. The average class size is 21 students. It's even smaller right now, especially with COVID-19 going on as well. Students can select from 95 plus areas of study. Now, if you already have an area of study in mind, that's great. If you're kind of undecided, we call that exploring. You have a lot of options. Even if you have one major picked out, you can definitely double major. Now, of course, some things like nursing or physical therapy, not going to be as easy to double major in, but you have a lot of options if you're still kind of undecided on what you might want to end up doing. Your first year on campus, you will take classes in your major or whatever field you're interested in. I think that's good for two reasons. One, we make sure you like your major. That way, if you hate it, you absolutely hate econ and you're taking your first econ course, we can get you out and switch you into another business field. Also, this way you're saving your general education courses for later on in your career. That way, when you're a junior and you're a senior and you're taking 3 or 4 300 level courses, you have a nice, easy 100 level course. I loved that. I took Social 101 as a senior, easiest thing ever. It was awesome. All students get an individual faculty advisor. This is somebody from within your major. So if I'm a communication major, I'm going to have a communication advisor. I have to meet with them before I register for courses. You'll end up meeting with them multiple times this semester, though. They're really good, just like kind of extra eyes on your grades. They're another person who's going to fight for you for internships or job opportunities, and they'll send you those internships and job opportunities, especially with what's going on right now. It's super hard to kind of nose your way into internships and things like that. Having somebody who knows alumni from Carroll that want to help out other Carroll students is a huge kind of asset. Our goal is to get you out in 4 years. Now, of course, if you're doing physical therapy or you're doing a graduate program, we want you to stay longer than that. But if you're just doing 4 years of an undergraduate degree, we don't want you here any longer than that. And that's why we have so many of these like little different things set up for you. And we do have some Carroll 3 programs where you can graduate in 3 years as well. So we, as I mentioned before, we do have a historic campus, almost 175 years old. We're in one of the oldest buildings right now, was recently renovated. It's called Main Hall. It's kind of a focal point of campus. We've spent over $130 million in the past decade on campus improvements. 2 new buildings, about 4 different buildings that were completely renovated, about 4 different apartment suite style dorms that were just built brand new in the past couple of years. So even though the entire world is kind of hurting right now, we're constantly trying to make strides. And these past couple of years, we've been just booming as an institution. 2 years ago, we had our 2nd largest incoming class of freshman students ever. So Carroll's definitely still growing. Michael Mary Shahar Science Laboratories is one of those new buildings I mentioned. We all like to call it the ABC building. Anatomy is in the basement, biology on the 1st floor, chemistry on the 2nd floor. Doug and Nancy Hossett Hall, one of the coolest places to study on campus, some really good people watching spots. That's my favorite thing. We do have the nursing lab on the 2nd floor. We have the patio up top on that rooftop terrace. They have some really nice seating spaces there. We probably got maybe 3 more days that we can sit up there. I don't know, it's supposed to snow in like 2 days. I'm really not looking forward to that. We also have engineering and exercise science in this building as well. We have this little video. I really like showing this video. It has like really intense movie music, just a warning, but it kind of gives you a different view of campus.
Hello, pioneers. I'm Dr. Cindy Nattinger, Carroll University president. Thanks for taking time to join me today. Most of you, of course, have had the opportunity to visit our beautiful campus. From the iconic stained glass sea that graces the entrance to Main Hall, to the state-of-the-art Michael and Mary Jaharis Science Laboratories, you'll find architecture that gracefully blends our historic legacy with future vision that's bright, bold, and pioneering. No matter how many times you've been to campus, you've likely never seen it from the perspective of Carroll University sophomore Michael Merkus. Michael, who is a business administration pre-physical therapy major, is also an extremely talented videographer who recently captured this amazing bird's eye view of Carroll. We're thankful to Michael for allowing us to share his work and hope to see you for an in-person visit very soon.
Told you the music would be a little intense. That really makes me feel like I'm in the ending of a movie right there. I just think that video is kind of cool. It shows you how really big our campus is. We're about 3 by 3 square blocks or so. I think it's just kind of cool to have that view of campus. So we will keep going. Some of you may have never heard of Waukesha before. I never heard of Waukesha before I came and visited down from Fenton High School, where I went, right next to O'Hare Airport, if you didn't know that. We are located in Waukesha, Wisconsin. It's a town of about 75,000 people. It's not small by any means. It has a beautiful river walk. There's farmers markets, places to go eat downtown. They do have this thing called Friday Night Live where they shut down all the streets and it's just bands up and down the street. So it's kind of a vibrant small town. We're lucky enough to be located really right next to downtown. It's about a 5 to 10 minute walk to go study at a coffee shop, to go sit on the rooftop at People's Park and have a nice brunch. So a lot of nice places that are pretty close just in the downtown Waukesha area. We are just 20 minutes east of Milwaukee. I myself, I'm a Cubs fan, I'm a Bulls fan, but I've been to more Brewers and Bucks games in my life just because they're so easy to get to and they're so cheap for students. I got $12 tickets to Bucks games when I got to see the MVP of the NBA. And it was just kind of cool to have those opportunities where it's a 20-minute drive from campus. I can go and I can explore that big city, but then I have like the nice little safety net of Waukesha. Also, Summerfest was something I had never been to before. It's like a super big music festival. They have the state fair where you can get like fried anything on a stick. It's really kind of fun that they have all these different things that go on 20 minutes away from campus. State fair is like 10 minutes away. You can get like root beer flavored milk at State Fair. It's wild. They do a lot of different things. We're also fairly close to Chicago. Now, I know Claire was telling me about this, but we take day trips here at Carroll sometimes. Of course, this year it's a little bit different. But what happens is they will advertise it in like our little Post-it that all students get emailed. And basically, you take a day trip down to the Shed Aquarium. You pay $5, and then you get a ticket, you get a meal voucher, and you get rides there and back. It's kind of set up to give students an opportunity to get off campus for a day, and it's all through Carroll with other Carroll students, so you don't have to worry about setting anything up yourself. I do also bring up these two cities because they're great for internships, clinical placements, and career connections. I just think that it makes so much sense. Our alumni pick up and they move 20 minutes east, or they move an hour and a half south. And we have all these opportunities right at our fingertips. I was lucky enough that I got to intern in Milwaukee for 2 different summers and over a J term, just because those opportunities were available to me. Carroll University is global, a little bit more behind that. We require 60 hours of cultural immersion. What that means is we have something called the CCE requirement. It's a part of our general education requirement, and it's 60 hours of cultural immersion. Now, when I say that, I don't want to scare people off. You can go and you can study abroad in Japan for a full semester, or you can go and volunteer in Milwaukee. The options are really kind of up to you. I just like students to know that they have options, and this is something that really Carroll tries to promote. It is a part of that general education requirement, like I said, but this year we have, of course, canceled the travel portion of that, so students are not required to travel this year. And one more thing about this before I move on, we do it to try to get students to build a better understanding of the world. We think that it's super important for students to be well-rounded, and this really gives students an opportunity to see a couple different cultures that are different than their own. We have 50 plus student-led organizations here at Carroll. What people ask me, my favorite question, do you guys have stuff to do on the weekends? No, we all just sit in our dorm room and we don't do anything the entire time. Yes, we have stuff to do on the weekends. So each one of these student orgs, and I break this down in the simplest term. I was no math major. 50 plus student-led organizations, each one is required to put on an event each semester. Like I said, not great at math, but there are not 50 weekends in a semester. It usually ends up being 1 or 2 events a weekend, let alone a single day in a weekend. There's a lot to do just based off of these. That's not even including Res Life, See You at Night, the orientation mentors, all the athletics and arts events you can attend. There's a lot going on. You may want to be involved in one of our instrumental or choral ensembles. Some of them are auditions, some of them are just anyone can get in, but you get credit for most of them, which is really nice. We do have an a cappella group in case you were wondering. You can be a part of the Carroll Players. That's our theater club on campus, and they partner with the theater arts major to hold different productions throughout the entire year. You don't need to be a major, once again, to participate in any of these productions. We have 22 different Division III athletic teams. 2 newest, we are going to add women's bowling, which is super exciting, and a rec sports team. We just added esports this past year, which is kind of awesome as well. We compete in the CCIW. It's a top 3 Division III conference, probably in the entire nation. It's quite the powerhouse conference. We're pretty proud of that. Our athletics really kind of mirror everything else on campus, is that they're held to a pretty high standard. So your next steps, if you liked what you heard today so far, hopefully you stick around and listen a little bit more. You can apply for free at carrollu.edu, or you can use the Common App at commonapplication.org. We will require your high school transcripts through your junior year. We do need a cumulative GPA. This year, we are going to be test optional. We know it's really hard for Illinois students to take a standardized test, ACT or SAT right now. So don't worry, we're fully test optional outside of nursing. We are going to still require a test score for nursing. However, we're going to be putting on an SAT on our campus for students to come to campus and take still. What comes next? You'll want to receive that admission decision. Knock on wood, you're accepted. You will also get, most likely, can't guarantee it, but most likely a merit scholarship if you earn it. That's automatically reviewed for you. Then you want to apply for some departmental and outside scholarships. Make sure you complete the FAFSA, and then we would love to have you. We are offering visits to our campus. We actually have a campus day this weekend, which is super exciting. We're going to be hosting some families on campus, but come schedule an individual visit. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, we are doing virtual visits. We have this pretty cool software. It's called Hello Campus. You basically get a walking tour of campus with a tour guide, but it's all through pictures and videos. It's something kind of different for y'all. So these are the departmental and talent scholarships. I'll come back to this because we're about to hit them in financial aid. Feel free to keep in touch with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram. We have an admissions Instagram, as well as Twitter. And yes, Carroll does have a TikTok. Yes, you should follow it. And if you have any TikTok ideas, please send them to us because we're running low. My information, if you want to get in contact with me, Griffin Edelman, that's me, gedelman@carrollu.edu. I have an office phone, and then that's my texting number in case you feel more comfortable shooting me a text. Now we will just keep moving on to financial aid, still with Griffin. So I'd like to break down financial aid as much as I possibly can to as simple as it can be. I was the first in my family to kind of go through the process, so I want to make it simple for y'all as well. So where do you start? The first thing that you will earn, in theory, if you earn it, is a academic merit scholarship. They range from $14,000 to $22,000. We are still awarding academic merit scholarships if you don't submit a test score. So you don't need to worry about submitting that test score to earn one of these. You'll still earn one of the scholarships. They're good for 4 years at Carroll. All you need to do is maintain a 2.0 GPA. We will re-review you for those scholarships up through February 1st. If you get a chance to take a test, or if you want to send us your 7-semester transcript, we will never lower your merit scholarship amount. We'll only raise it. We do have some Carroll-specific scholarships, departmental and talent scholarships. We have 3 full tuition scholarships. We have years in business scholarships, science scholarships, art and theater scholarships. There's a lot of money on our website. If you'd like the link to this page, feel free to shoot me an email using my email on that last slide, and I can send this right to you. What if I know a Carroll alum or have a veteran in the family? I love starting slides with a question like that. I feel like it's a little more fun. We got you covered. We have a Hilbert Tradition Award. They do need to be a graduate of Carroll, but you don't need to be related to them. They can be like a friend of a friend of a friend. And then if you have any questions about the scholarship opportunities through the post 9/11 amount, feel free to contact me and I can point you in the right direction as well. Last year, Carroll students brought in $1.2 million of outside scholarships. That is a lot of money. And I want all of you to be a bigger part of that than I was when I was going through the college search. We have a PDF on our website. It's entitled the Outside Scholarship PDF. It's updated pretty much once a month, and it looks kind of like what you see on the left side of your screen there. It has just the scholarship, the minimum GPA, and how much it's worth. And it'll list all the things you need to do to earn that scholarship. Super easy, super simple. And this is a free tool, and it's updated every month. So feel free to go to our website. It's carrolluniversity.edu, carrollu.edu. /financial aid /undergraduate student scholarships. If you want this link, send me an email. I can send this to you as well. This is what your financial aid offer is going to look like. This is just an example. Dawn Scott is our financial aid, the VP of financial aid, and she was okay with me using this. This is her financial aid org. So it'll list out your gift aid right on the top there. Then it'll include all your self-help aids, so loans and work study as well. She's getting a pretty nice scholarship amount right off the bat of $22,000 off the table, right off the bat. Then that big box down at the bottom, I blew it up a little bit bigger on the right side there. It will list your total cost. So our total cost for this next year is $44,000. That's including tuition, room and board, and your fees. Only thing it doesn't cover is books. And then it'll talk about your cost. It'll talk about your payment plans. It'll talk about how much you can earn in work study. And it'll also talk about your plus or private loan opportunities. Financial aid offers are going to be coming out soon. Make an appointment with us. We'd love to break this down with you. I just went through the process like 2 years ago, so I kind of know what it all looks like. So don't be afraid to ask any questions. The FAFSA, the first thing you need to do with the FAFSA is create an FSA ID. This is important because this will identify you each year. You go back to fill out the FAFSA, and then once you do that, you'll go back to the main FAFSA page and fill that out. We're downloading FAFSAs this next week, so we'll be starting to send those offer letters out, like I said. Woo, I talked a lot, y'all. That was good. If you have any financial aid specific questions and you don't want to ask me or any of the other admission counselors, there's financial aid email, and there is their phone number. And now, student panel with current PIOs. So as I said before, we have the awesome Jamie and Claire here. We do have some questions in Q&A, so I'll read them off. I apologize if we don't get to your question. But first, Jamie, Claire, do you guys want to say who you are, where you're from, what year you're in school, and we'll do major, and we'll get to involvements later. We got a question about that.
Okay, so hi everybody, my name is Jamie. I am a sophomore here at Carroll. I'm from Wales, Wisconsin, and I am a nursing major.
Hello, my name is Claire. I am a junior on campus. I am from Bloomington, Illinois, and I am a healthcare administration major with a minor in communications.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so the first question is, what do you guys do at Carroll?
So I am involved in a sorority here on campus. It's called Alpha Gamma Delta. So if anyone has any questions about fraternities and sororities, I can help a little bit with that. I also really want to get involved with the Outdoor Adventure Club. They do a bunch of fun things. They go kayaking, rock climbing, and I rock climbed in high school. So that's something that I will get involved in this coming year.
Nice.
And usually my time is spent studying, but when I am not
I love
studying, I am usually in the library, in the coffee shop working on things. But outside of that, I am involved in Future Health Executives, which is a good organization put on by the other healthcare administration majors, which is something that I want to point out is that a lot of our majors on campus have specific student orgs that is a really, really good chance for you to meet other people in your major that maybe necessarily aren't in your class. Example, I'm a junior and Jamie's a sophomore. If we were the same major, chances are we probably wouldn't have any classes together, but it's still nice to get some familiar faces in the back of your mind of just, other people that are in your major. I'm also involved in RHA, which is our Residence Hall Association. So even though I am not an RA, because my jobs do not allow me to fit that into my schedule, it's still a great way for students to get involved in residence life.
Nice. So the next question is, what are classes like with COVID going on?
So mine are 50-50 in person and then fully online. Carroll has done a great job of keeping our numbers to a minimum, or as much of a minimum as possible.
Spit that out, Jamie.
Sorry. So as a nursing student, I'm really grateful to have that opportunity to have in-person classes. I know Griffin talked about that small class size, which definitely makes it easier for us to hold those in-person classes. But I would say I'm about 50-50.
Very nice.
With COVID going on, I've tried to look at my academics from a more positive Viewpoint, if I can. All of my classes, and this is just me personally, have all gone to a hybrid format. So the class is split up in 2 or 3 groups, just depending on what days of the week the class meets. And those groups will take turns being in person in the classroom. So students are still able to be physically in the classroom, asking questions, getting that live in-person teaching. However, if you're not in person that day, all the classrooms on campus have been installed with up-to-date software to live stream our classes. So whether that be Microsoft Teams or a software called Panopto, it provides students, and this is kind of where I see the positives, is that it allows us to go back and rewatch all of our lectures if the teacher does allow that. And so far, I don't think really any haven't, because they understand this is a hard time for everyone. So having that as a resource, I think, is huge, and it's definitely helped me.
Yeah, that's a really good like study technique, is being able to go back and watch the lecture over and over again. And that's like something I wish I had when I was going through school, because when I was going through, you just had to take notes at 1,000,000 miles an hour. That's not fun. Next question. This is a good one. What is one tip you would give to a student who's going through the college search now that you've picked a school?
I would just say to keep an open mind about different colleges. Definitely come visit us. We both give tours during the week. And I think that's just the biggest thing, is come experience what it's like to be a Carroll student as much as possible. I know pre-COVID, we allowed a lot of students to experience classes. They were able to meet with professors. Athletic students are allowed to meet with coaches. And then we also had some students who were able to sleep over and stay the night with a current Carroll student, which was absolutely incredible because they get to see what it's like. So I'm hoping that for soon, I think we can get back to that, but just come visit and just have an open mind, and we'll kind of show you around.
Going off of what Jamie said, I visited campus about 3 or 4 times before I even made a decision, this campus specifically, and one of those was an overnight visit with a current Carroll student, and now I work with her in admissions, so it kind of comes around full circle. And yeah, but my piece of advice would probably just to put in the hard work now as a high school senior. It can be very easy to not necessarily slack off, but just kind of, it's senioritis. It's there. You can't avoid it, but just keep pushing and work hard now, because the rewards will pay off. Whether that be through financial aid and scholarships, or even just pushing yourself to maybe start looking for more job opportunities or campus visit opportunities, or things to even add to your resume if you plan on presenting a resume with your application. I think just keep making sure that you're keeping up the hard work now. It will pay off for you in college.
Awesome answers. Who'd you do your overnight with?
I did mine with Peyton Proud.
Oh, it's small world.
Yes.
Small world.
Yeah.
Everything's connected. Both of y'all work on campus, all right. So the next question was, what do you guys do for on-campus jobs? Do you have campus work? But they both do this, right? Are you guys happy you do this?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
All right, good.
I'm also an orientation mentor on campus.
Ooh.
So that is my second job. In a way, it's very similar to being a student ambassador for admissions. But essentially, orientation mentors are at least second-year students. So they kind of like you to have a year under your belt. But we get a group of about 18 to 20 incoming freshmen every year. And in a way, we're kind of their mom. They're kind of on-campus mom. For the whole first semester, we actually do sit in on a class with them, and kind of act as that liaison between the professor and them, because sometimes I'm sure it would be easier for them to talk to another student first, and instead of maybe going directly to the professor. But yeah, that's what we do. And we also put on something called Welcome Week, and I always say that Welcome Week is my favorite holiday of the year, because it is. It's a week full of orientation events that we just really encourage these freshmen to go to. whether they like it or not. And it's kind of where Jamie said, keep an open mind. Even if you don't think that you'll like it, just try it and go. You can always leave if you don't like it, but it's a good way for people to get involved, see what campus has to offer, and also just meet different people.
I love it. Thank you, Claire. Next question was, what is your favorite and what is your least favorite thing about Carroll?
Oh gosh.
I love the least favorite
That's
question.
hard. So my favorite thing about Carroll, I think, is always a two-parter for me. The first is the opportunities that Carroll offers. So I decided to go to Carroll based on my sister who graduated a few years ago. And I saw all of the incredible opportunities that she had through the nursing program. So I am super excited to be able to go to a few clinicals, even in my sophomore year. I'll get to have all these experiences, internships, student success, having that one-on-one relationship with an advisor, being able to talk to professors, just all of those opportunities that Carroll allows that many other schools don't. And then the second thing that I would say is just the people. I just feel like there is this welcoming attitude, just this radiant positivity that goes on around campus. And I'm proud to speak about Carroll in that way. Just the people are awesome. You'll make friends, you'll, get to have relationships with professors, and it's just a great time.
Least.
Oh goodness. Okay.
She got so distracted.
Yeah, there's so many good things you can't even pick up.
The color orange isn't my favorite.
Oh, Jamie, how could you? How could you?
For me, my favorite thing about Carroll and what kind of just drew me to this campus, is when it sounds cliche, but when I just stepped on campus, I just knew that this is where I needed to be. And I kind of found it last minute actually, and wasn't really planning on applying here, but I'm here now and it's my junior year and I don't regret a single thing. But I think right now my favorite thing about campus is especially us being so small, but having the wide range of resources, like Jamie said, in order to make COVID work for our academic programs here and student life. That was something that I know I was really concerned about when we did get sent home for a period of time. But I think Carroll did a really good job with just placing safety measures and creating good policies that allowed us to be back on campus, because Carroll is not Carroll without our students. So I think that would probably be my favorite thing right now. My least favorite thing is definitely when they don't have chocolate chip cookies every day in the MDR.
Oh.
But in all seriousness, my least favorite thing is kind of a personal thing. My least favorite thing is the distance for me from home. I'm about 3.5 hours away. So yeah, it gets hard sometimes, but thankfully with our break coming up soon, I will get to go home and see my family. But it's just a personal least favorite thing, I guess. So.
Oh, that's a good answer. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you all both.
Yes.
Next question is about the athletics at Carroll. Do we have any sports? I know neither of y'all are athletes. I'm a former athlete though, so I'd love to talk about it. We are Division III, so we don't give out money for athletics, but we do have 22 different teams. They range from volleyball to soccer to lacrosse, swimming, basketball, tennis, track and field, cross country, golf. Did I say golf? Golf. And then women's bowling, going to be brand new. We do have football, baseball, basketball, softball, pretty much most of the typical sports. I was lucky enough to play football for 4 years and lacrosse for half a year until COVID shut it down. I want to hold on to that till the day I die. And I think it's an excellent experience. I actually say that football allowed me to have a good GPA, which is not what you would normally expect. You would expect it to be the opposite. But a lot of our sports have study tables. They have meetings with your coaches to go over your academics. It's basically an additional academic advisor where you need certain grades to be able to play. You need a certain GPA, and they want to make sure you do that. They do know that you're a student athlete. So if you have class and you have practice, you're going to go to class. But now if you have class and a game, You have to get it checked with the professor before you're allowed to go to that game. You have to get them to sign a sheet okaying that you're good to miss that class to go to that game. And all the professors are pretty big athletes of the athletics, of the arts. They love supporting our students doing things on campus. We have a lot of professors that are at every theater performance, at every soccer game, at every different presentation for Carroll, Celebrate Carroll, which is like where we go over all of our academic successes. So all the professors know that you're here to be a student first, but they do support you doing other things on campus. I hope that answered the question. We got one more question. So take this time to write your last questions. If not, we'll kind of wrap it up after this. But what are the classes like at Carroll? Are they hard?
I can speak first. So classes are tough. They're definitely different than high school. You spend less time being in class, but more time outside of class, given that you're, usually in high school, you're there for 8 hours a day. I wouldn't say that on a typical day, I'm in class for 8 hours. But again, despite the fact that you may have tough courses, they're not impossible. They, are realistic, and you have so many resources available to assist you if you have questions, if you have trouble. I think my biggest tip, just as a student, is just to find some friends who you love to hang out with and study with them. It makes it fly by, and it's a lot easier to do some studying if you're with people that you enjoy hanging out with.
Good answer, Jamie. Anything?
I think Jamie pretty much has said a lot of the same thoughts that I have about it. But I will say that I think in a way it's kind of a little bit of an unfair question because everyone's experience is different. And, one thing that being a junior that I've realized so far in 3 years here is that you're going to understand some things and you're not going to understand some things. No matter how hard you want to understand them, sometimes you just won't. And professors get that, they do. But as long as professors see that you're genuinely trying, they want to help you. Obviously, if you're missing class and kind of slacking off, they might not be as forgiving. But if you're genuinely trying and showing up to class and asking questions and participating, and you're still struggling with a concept or something, they will help you. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that I've had to learn, especially recently switching majors and everything, and just getting adjusted to everything. But I think that would probably be my answer.
That's a good answer. And just really quick, Sarah, there is a physical therapy program. My information is up on the screen right now. Please send me an email like tonight because we have direct admission for physical therapy. This goes for anyone else that's interested. And we do have an early decision first round of acceptances for that direct admission physical therapy. So if you are graduating this spring and you're interested in direct admission physical therapy program, please send me an email because I want to get you processed and accepted as soon as possible so that you can be reviewed for that. Like, let's make this happen in 2 days. Let's get it done. All right, y'all. That was awesome. Kudos to both of our panelists there. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email, give me a call, shoot me a text. I will have all of y'all's information. So if you really need me to send you something, I can send it to you. Don't worry. But I think with that, we'll be turning it back over to Amelia. So I will stop sharing here, I believe. Oh, never mind. She took over. All you.
Great. Thank you so much, Griffin, Jamie, and Claire. Thank you for joining us, everyone, tonight. When you close out of this window, there will be a link to a very, very quick 4-question survey. So if you'd please provide some feedback, we'd really appreciate it. And like I said before, this was just one of many sessions being hosted. So make sure you sign up for any additional sessions at IACAC.org. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at that same website, IACAC.org. Thank you. Have a good night.